Everyone, my name is Link. I am one of the admins and co-founders of the Digital Gaming League. Today I will be teaching you how to go from start to finish on making a map for Insurgency. The SDK launcher for Insurgency is not through the Steam browser. It will be found through going to your Steam Apps Common Insurgency 2 folder and looking for the SDK. You'll find the SDK launcher, pin that to your start menu, and from there you'll be able to quickly access the SDK launcher. I advise you, unless you really know what you're doing, don't use custom models because it's hard for it's an advanced technique. So just use the models that you're given when you download the game. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right in this. This is a map that a simple map that I created, an A map, and I'll be creating another map actually that I'm actually going to use, and I'll be taking you from start to finish. As any good programmer or mapper will know, I'm going to be cheating a lot and taking pieces from other maps, but I'll only be taking them from maps that you have access to. So let's get started. I'll run you down from the basics all the way to some of the more advanced things. Okay, so I just want to get a size right here in this right screen. So 2560 by 2000 by 2000 is a good size. I'm probably gonna do 2500, maybe a little skinnier. So I'll open a new map. Make sure you're on, in the top left window you'll see camera. Left click the camera, word camera, and then do 3D shaded texture polygons. And then I'm going to go to the right side of the window, hit browse, type in NoDraw, and then click from there. Now, in some of my other videos that some people may have seen, I don't use NoDraw usually, but to start with, usually I use usually I will use a dev texture, a measure generic, because it's not actually showing you what I'm browsing with. Okay. So anywho, when I am hitting browse, it opens up a secondary window that will show you the textures, and it has a filter in there, and you can just type whatever you want in there, and it will filter your searches based upon the word that you type in. You can type in things like floor, wall, ceiling, wood, concrete, decal, NoDraw, dev, Skybox, tools, etc. And they'll filter you back responses. So first things first, I'm gonna make sure that my grid size is pretty big. I don't I usually you want to use a big grid size and then work down from there in the beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a big box that I know this is going to be way too big for my level, but I'm just going to do it just to be safe. And the reason why I suggest use the big grid box at first is because if you work in very small dimensions, every time you want to edit your level, you're going to have to work in those small dimensions. So when you're in the main camera and you're moused over it, you'll hit Z, and you can look around and use WASD to fly around your map. So you see this big NoDraw texture right now. I'm going to create another one above it. So I'm going to be working in the side view. I'm going to click my block tool, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth down from the top, block tool. And then I'll create another block, hit enter, and now you'll see above I have it. Now I'm going to create my walls. What I'm doing here is I'm just creating a safety net. Your map cannot see any of this black. If it sees any of the black, then you'll have a leak. And Hammer's really good. It'll probably compile and run, but you'll get full bright, so none of your lighting will work, etc. And you could have some other issues. So a quicker way to duplicate the walls is I'm in the XY window right here. I'm going to click on my wall, hold down Shift, left click, and drag, and boom, I have another wall. Now looking in the XY vision again, I'm just going to create my last few walls. So now I have this big giant arena, and it's all enclosed, so I know that it will catch any leaks. Some people don't like this because they want to find the leaks, but I'm not too worried about it right now. This is just a beginner tutorial. You'll notice in the top I want everything to match up perfectly. This is just a habit I have. I will come back to why I do this later. It's more important for texturing. Okay, so through trial and error I have learned that 2500 by 2000 is a pretty good increment. So I am going to actually lower my grid size just a little bit and start creating my actual level. So 2560 by 2040. Fine, fair enough. And I'll make it by 256. So I have my ground. This is actually really intense. So I'm actually going to go a lot lower than that. My suggestion when you're first blocking out your level is you never really want to go below, I would say, 16. It just makes your life easy. 32 is fine for now. And so just blocking out my level, I'm going to hold Shift, left click, and drag this up. This will be my sky. This is not aligned properly. Let's just make my life easier. There you go. Alright. And then just forming the walls. So I'm in essence creating a level within a level right now. And that is just so that I don't have to deal with any leaks or whatnot. I actually am going to change something in a second. So you'll notice this is actually a pretty good size to do most of your mapping in, 16 units. So that's pretty high. I'm actually, as much as I said, I'm going to use the clipping tool, and if you click it multiple times, it actually changes. So if you see in that bottom right window, you can see, oh, like how's it clipping? Whatever's red gets deleted. You can see in this bottom. So I actually just I want both pieces, but I want to separate them. So I want to have a wall and actually, yeah, let me undo that really quick because I don't like that. A good wall for the outside would probably be 256 or so. So that'll probably be a little better. Yeah, 256. Alright. And then I am going to just change these upper portions to be the skybox. So I'm going to go and control left click, you can select multiple brushes, and Z in third person is how you zoom around. Then I'm going to go to browse the textures on the right side, but you can't see this window. Then I'm going to type in tools. Oh, can't type. Tools. And I'm going to scroll down, and there's going to be a tools/tools skybox. Looks like a big blue texture. Select it. There you go. I have selected it. And then I'm going to hit the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th button down. It looks like a brown cube. Apply current texture, and boom. I have my sky. Now I'm just going to do... So another thing to note is that NoDraw, this NoDraw texture, it won't draw the textures. Pretty simple. So if it doesn't draw this texture, it'll show the texture behind it. Well, there's no texture here, therefore it'll just show the black abyss, which is fine. This NoDraw texture and block actually seals your level. So everything is sealed right now. The outside is all sealed. NoDraw brushes will seal your level. Unfortunately, when you look at this as a player, everything looks crazy. Like it'll just make the image stretch and etc., etc. So instead of left-clicking it with the arrow, I'm going to want to use the texture application, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th down. It looks like the cube that is blue, purple, and red. Toggle texture application. And I'm going to want to face a face. This will select a face of each brush. So, you know, typical a block is 6 sides. I am selecting the one of 6. So let's say, you know, I select all the walls and I want them all to be one thing. I will go, oh, you can't actually see this face edit sheet either. So I selected all. So I have, as you can see right here, I'm moving my mouse around it. I have it selected. I have another window that says face edit sheet, and it shows me the texture and it shows me the justify, etc., etc. And I'll get into that later. But what will happen? I'm going to go to browse, and I'm just going to type in wall. And you typically don't want a blend for your wall, but it doesn't really matter. I might use one anyways. A blend just means it has 2 different textures as one. So you can make it look like a snowy wall or something like that. So I'm just going to make this Afghan brick wall, and I'm going to apply. And then, hold on 1 second. There we go. I popped it up for you. Let me just, there we go. And I'll show you where it shows up on me. There you go. Now you can see it. Perfectly fine. Okay, so now you're seeing what I see. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit bottom, and then I'm going to say treat as 1. I'm going to go bottom and then left. It's already lined up perfectly, so it's fine. So now you see we have walls. Then I'm going to do, oh, unfortunately it is always there. That is annoying. Okay, well now you've seen what it is. I'm going to get rid of it so you don't have to see it all the time. So then I'm going to select my floor with the texture face edit sheet, and I'm going to type in floor in the browser. Browse, dirt, maybe I want sand, maybe I want grass. I'll type in grass. Ugh, these grass look disgusting. Fair enough. I'll apply some grass. No, I don't like that actually. I'm going to do dirt. Excuse me. There you go. And we have our level. So right now, if we launch this level, well, we'd be missing a lot of key components and properties, but it would work. Nothing is being drawn that can't be seen by the player, and that is why NoDraw is used. NoDraw is used to not render the faces or things that cannot be seen by the player. Why? Because if the player renders it, it's causing resources. So it's good to start this NoDraw resource management in the beginning, optimization of your map. Okay, so let's begin with the basics. Now, you've just created this, and you don't really know what else you need. So in competition, we usually use firefight, but right now I'm creating an aim map, which means I don't really want people to respawn. If you want them to respawn, then you should do a skirmish mode, which will work just exactly the way that I'm doing it. But I'm going to do firefight. So I'm going to go File, Open, which you can't see right now, and then I'm going to go back into my Insurgency folder. I'm going to go through my browser, go to Insurgency. Where'd it go? Oh, I lost it. Insurgency 2. SDK. So you'll File, Open, Common, Steam Apps, Common, Insurgency 2, not Insurgency without a number, Insurgency 2, SDK Content, Maps. I am going to open the firefight map. Boom. I just opened the firefight map. Okay, now, because I'm lazy and I don't want to figure things out for myself, I know this is a generic firefight map, okay? It just teaches you exactly what you need to do in order for it to work. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to steal all this because I don't want to figure out for myself how to use the entities. They've already done it nicely for me, so I'm going to steal them. I'm going to select all this, Control Copy, go into, oh, I need to name my file actually, DGL, okay, and I'm going to paste that, and then boom, I have spawns, but I need the other spawns now. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab the security spawns. Control left click, Control copy, change the windows, and boom. There we are. So actually what I'm noticing right now is just entering these in is this is a little not as long as I wanted. I want this to be a little bit longer. I would say the width is probably good. So I'm just going to edit this on the fly. I'm going to grab the sky, I'm going to grab the wall, and we're going to move this down a bit. I don't know how long. Let's see. That might work. Maybe too much. Maybe bring it in a little bit. There we go. Then I'm going to grab all these pieces. And another thing to note is that you want to make sure, see how these are all flush right here? Like they're all the same length. That means when I edit them, they're going to move equally. If you make these things different lengths, when you go to edit them, they're going to shift a little bit off, which is going to be annoying because then you can't move all of them once. You're going to need to move them all at different times. So that is why I map like that. I make sure everything is the same distance. That way I can just grab all of them if I need to move them and then move them over like so. I need to make my grid a little smaller. I am a huge proponent of using large grids in the beginning so that you do not need to zoom all the way in when you want to edit stuff. Okay? So basically what I'm doing here is I'm basically doing exactly what the firefight server was done. I just don't like working off other people sometimes because then you really don't know what they've done. So my map is very symmetrical right now, and that's nice because I know exactly where the midpoints are. You can see with the X's right here that I'm circling around. That is the midpoint, and everything's nice and symmetrical. So it's all lined up pretty well. Ta-da! Now, we can play the game right now, but there are no capture points, but there are spawns, so we can spawn in. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to the window tab. I'm going to go back to the SDK Firefight VMF, the test one that we opened up that was an Insurgency 2 SDK content, maps, SDK Firefight VMF. And I'm just going to steal all of these control points. So you have a control point, which is your entity telling the server which will communicate to the text file for the maps file, and it will tell the server and the map, okay, these are the control points I want you to use. You know, everything is communicating. You have a map, you have a server, and you have a text file. The text file delegates what and where control points are. So you have a control point that talks to the text file. It also talks to this brush. This trigger brush is the capture point area. So you're going to want the control point entity as well as the control point area, or this trigger brush. It's very important. So I've grabbed all of them. I control copy. Well, if you ever do that, by the way, just control A. It'll fix it for you. So if you ever go big like that in one location, control A, fix. And I'm using Z to fly around all the way. Okay, so control copy. Go back. I go to the window tab, select my map, and I actually am creating an AIM map, so I don't want anyone to respawn ever. Some people do. In some AIM maps you have respawn, some you don't. I don't. So you can actually do this same exact thing that I'm about to do, but with the skirmish control points, and people actually will respawn. They just won't be able to capture the control points. So I'm going to back out of my inner level and go to my outer level. And I'm just going to put these control points, Control V, down below. And that way, you know, no one will ever be able to capture the control points. So I've just made basically a one life to live TDM server. TDM map. The other thing that you're going to need to do, which I will show you briefly to get it running, is you're going to need to show you're going to need to modify a config file. So actually this is working right now. So say you don't want to do, you don't want to watch me do anything of the rest, and that's fine. So what you're going to do next is you're going to go to File, or actually you're going to go to Map, and then you're going to go to Map Properties. It'll select everything, and when you go to the top, you go to File, Edit, Map, Map Properties, and let me bring up this window for you so you can see what I am looking at. Add window capture. Map Properties. So now you can see what I see. You will see, name, map description, Skybox texture name. The Skybox texture name is the most important thing. When you open up this browser, which I'm going to have to add as well, textures. When you open up this browser right here, and this is the browser that you'll be using, I type in Skybox at the bottom, I'm going to get a bunch of Skyboxes. Now the confusing thing here is that when I first started mapping, I would be like, oh, I want the market back, or the market underscore BK, or I want the market underscore DN. No. All that's doing is telling the Skybox which pictures to use at what location to the player. So instead of using the market underscore back or the market underscore down, I'm just going to use market. Now I'm using Ramadi, which is the default. It's the one on Siege. So I type in Ramadi, and you go all the way down, and you can see what it's going to look like. Ramadi sky, back, Ramadi sky down, Ramadi sky front, etc., etc. So I close this, and then you can see in this objective properties that I have Ramadi sky as my Skybox texture name. The map will know which file to go to pick that up. So I just type in Ramadi sky, and that is how you change your Skybox. Do not put underscore back underscore down. Just take the parent name. So it's already working, and I'm just going to use the default. So let me turn these off here. Alright. And it's selected when you select the map properties. So it'll work right now. So we already have the sky done. Oh, we are missing one more thing actually. I'm going to go back to the SDK firefight. We are missing this right here. We are missing all these. Directional light, environment, fog, etc., etc., etc. So I am, instead of trying to learn what each of these things do, which you can do on your own because that is super complicated, or you can look up each one of these entities on Google and it will tell you what they do. I'm just going to copy all of them because I trust the developers, and I'm going to go back to my map and I'm just going to paste them. It doesn't really matter where you paste them as long as you put them somewhere, and I'm just going to keep it like that. That works just fine. I trust them, and that works. It doesn't matter where you put them. I just usually put them somewhere up, easily accessible. It doesn't matter where you put the light environment sun. Inside the environment sun properties, there's all this angle and stuff like that. The light environment, etc. None of these things matter where you put them. You designate the direction that it's going to go within the entity properties when you double left click. Alright, so right now we're actually, this level will run right now with one spawn. I don't advise you to release this level, but yeah, it'll work. So something more important that people don't talk about, which is actually really annoying, is your config file. So you go into map, I'm in comment, so now I open up, you know, my file browser just in general, not in Hammer. And let me just see here if I can show you guys what I am looking at. So we'll go to our Steam apps, common, and I will show you this in just a second. Alright, add window capture browser. Okay, so this is something that gets overlooked a lot, and this is something that is super annoying to learn, so hopefully this will help you. So I've created this map called DGL_paintball. Alright, I'm going to go to Insurgency 2, Insurgency, and I always revert back to Siege Firefight because I'm used to that. So I'm going to go to my maps, and I have all these custom maps, but I'm just going to go by name, and I know I'm going to have a, well, first let's do this, okay? I'm actually going to go to, I'm going to go back in Hammer, I'm going to go to File, I'm going to hit Run Map, alright? Now let me bring up this window for you. So many windows to add. Compile, Run Map. So you will get this little thing, this little menu popped up right here in the middle of your screen. You'll go to File, you go to Hammer, you go to File, Run Map, and you'll get these things. Now, I'm going to run everything fast. I'm going to go run BSP, normal. Run Viz, fast. Run Rad, fast. Don't run the game after compiling. Wait for key press done when compiling. Wait for key press so that way you can look back at your compile log and see if it crashed. Now this literally should take probably 5 seconds. By the time I'm done talking about this, this might actually be done compiling. And it is. That was very quick. Let me show you this window that can pop up. I didn't really have time to add it though because it was so fast. It's not even I don't even think it popped up because it was so fast. Wow. Okay. Fair enough. Interesting. There we go. I found it. Okay. So once you hit Run Map, when you hit OK, this menu will pop up, and you'll see the compiler, and it'll go through and it'll compile everything and put them into a BSP file. That was very quick. With a full level, it might take you, you know, hours to compile. So my suggestion, in the beginning, it's fun to compile and play your map, but when you start making a big level, you're going to start probably compiling overnight. That is usually what we do. Or you get a laptop, you just set it up next to you, you move your map, your VMF folder, which is fairly small, you can transfer it through an email or a USB drive, and you put it on your laptop, you have your laptop compile, and then you can use your desktop to do other things. So we're done. I already compiled my map. I can get rid of this window capture. I can get rid of the compiler. We can go back to the browser, and we can search by name again, and you will see DGL paintball right there. Wow, look at that. DGL paintball has been compiled. Now it's ready to run. However, we need a text document telling the map what control points to use and what modes we want on the server. So I am going to actually scroll down. I'm going to grab the Siege text document. It's roughly around 3 kilobytes. So I'm just going to copy that, Siege copy, and I'm going to rename it DGL paintball. So your config, your text document file must have the same name as your BSP file. So I'm going to open this up. Let me just show you what I'm working with here. Hold on one second. Config. Alright, so now you see what I'm working with. So it tells you all these things and blah 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 blah. If you're doing an aim map with respawns, you're gonna want skirmish, but I'm not. So I'm just gonna select all this crap. Be wary of your closed and open brackets, as any programmer will tell you. Alright, there's firefight. I want firefight. I want that. So I am actually going to go down, and I found ambush, and I'm going to delete that. Oh, and there's push as well. So delete push. So, and then I'm going to save this. Now there's something else to notice before we close this. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Alright, good. There, you can see that better. So I've deleted everything instead of firefight. Now, you see these control point names are cap 2, extra cap, etc. I'm going to change these to something much simpler because I hate writing that much. I'm just going to change them to cap 2 and cap 3. Now, these names need to be the same names that are in your hammer file. So I've changed it to cap 1, cap 2, cap 3. I'm going to save this. Alright, and also make sure spawn zone FF. So spawn zone FF has to be the name of your spawn zones, or the server or the map will not communicate properly with this config file and you won't spawn where you're supposed to. It might actually work, but better not to play with it, especially if you have multiple modes on your map. So spawn zone FF, cap 1, cap 2, cap 3. I'm going to save this. I'm going to close it. And I'm going to close this browser. We're going to go back to Hammer. Then I'm going to open this. Name, spawn zone, firefight. So when you open up something like this, and let me just open this, show you what I'm working with here. So there we go, spawn zone firefight. So I'm just going to change it to FF because the server knows what that is. So I'm just going to open up both of these and type in FF. Alright, fair enough. Cool. It knows what I'm talking about. More importantly, I need to go down to these control points. And I need to change the names. So I'm going to open those and type in cap 1 for my name. I'm going to hit apply. Go to this one, go to the second one, tap in cap 2 for the name, hit apply. Go into cap zone 3, type in cap 3 for the name, and hit apply. Now we're fine. I have saved it, but unfortunately for me, I did this after I compiled. So everything is messed up right now. So how do you fix that? Well, because no one has played this map yet, I'm actually going to open up my browser again. And let's see here. Good thing I have nothing personal. I'll close that. You don't care if you know my name. Evolve, Insurgency, Reflex. No hacks detected. And where are we? DGL paintball. I'm actually just going to delete this BSP. I'm going to close that out. I'm going to go back to File, Run Map, run BSPs normal, run Viz fast, run Rad fast, don't run after the game after compiling, wait for key press. Okay. Compile, 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 compile. It's compiling. Should be done any second. It's taking forever. Okay, we're done. Go back to the browser. And DGL Paintball is there. Everything's communicating correctly. Now, this will actually launch. Yes. So if you're just looking at this, DGL Paintball, and you double left click, it will actually launch the game for you. And I don't actually think that this, I'm going to have to move this up. There you go. Look at that. Ta-da! I'm not even on a server. Oh. But look at that. I already have an error. There's no light. So that is amazing. So this is the beauty of map making. But you are in game fairly quickly. Oh, I spawned out of the map. So I'm actually there. I must have a spawn out of the map. So let's actually close Insurgency and see where our error is. Let's close that. Go back to Hammer. So I spawned outside of the map. Interesting. Anywho, I don't know why that was happening. So, but that'll run your map. I think actually I want to get rid of some of these, and we'll fix this. Let me close the browser for you. And that basically is how you get your map running. The light obviously didn't work, and I will have to fix that. I don't know why that was happening. I don't have any leaks in my map. Obviously, I closed them all up. So I'm just falling beneath the ground. I'm actually going to world, tools, and then I'm going to ungroup. So annoying, these things. Anywho, that is basically in a nutshell how you get your map working. How you do all the special and make your map look pretty is just how well you can use the browser, etc., etc., etc. So, and that will come with time. Just be careful when you do the box to select. Usually you'll select things up above. I don't actually know why I spawned out of the map. I must have something outside of the map, but that should be fairly easy to fix and not difficult at all. Oh, or maybe it's because I have this giant hole in my map. Oh, I deleted them when I just did that. That's why. Anyways, so that's it for now. That's roughly how you get started from start to finish. What you want to fill into your level is completely up to you. I will stop the stream now and start another video. That way you don't have to be concerned with that.